Hello, you join me here at Denham Golf Club, which is a remarkably weird little station just north of West Ruislip. We're about 30 minutes out of London Marylebone on the Chiltern Main Line, just inside the M25. And, well, yesterday, Sunday the 19th of July, I hit 10,000 subscribers, which is quite the milestone. And firstly, thank you for that. It genuinely means the world to me to hit 10,000 subscribers. When I started YouTube back in December 2018, nearly 8 years ago, I never thought I would get 10,000 views, let alone 10,000 people subscribing to me. So thank you so much. Your support really does mean the world to me. Now, to celebrate that, I am doing a Q&A. So you have all sent me your brilliant questions. I'm going to go through them. We're going to start off with some of my YouTube members' questions, my Patreon YouTube members, and then we'll get to other people's questions on other apps. And at the end, we're going to go through some silly questions which I have been asked, such as, what is your favourite Cluedo character? Guesses down below, please, before I reveal it towards the end of the video. That's the hook of the video. I'm going to get here for half an hour, then we're going to go somewhere else, maybe just Denham, and then I'm going to go up to maybe Gerrard's Cross. I don't know. I'm going to explore a bit the Chiltern Network and answer some of your questions. So let's start off with my Patreon and YouTube channel member questions. So my first question from my YouTube and Patreon members actually came from two people who asked the same question, funnily enough. This question comes from my members Ollie and BK Gary, which is, what is your favourite Wetherspoons? Now, I've been to a lot of Wetherspoons in my time. I've had a lot of great memories at Spoons, including one in Liverpool on my birthday at like 3 a.m. That was a strange experience, but a fun one. But I think my favourite in terms of like best architecture and stuff, there's one in Whitstable, which I believe is the Peter Cushing, who was an actor who was from Whitstable, lived in Whitstable in Kent, and that is an old cinema which Mr. J.D. Wetherspoon has turned into a very nice spoon. So it's got all this old cinema decorations and it is quite a cool spoon, so I would recommend that one. Second question comes from Gal Yelev, who says, what's your favourite thing about uni? Obviously, I made a whole video about me joining university. I think my favourite thing is being somewhere new. I've always been from the Midlands. You know, I've lived in basically only one place my entire life, around the West Midlands. So going somewhere else, going north, going to the northwest is a completely different experience. And if you have the opportunity to go to university, I would say absolutely take it. I know I have quite a lot of young viewers who watch my channel. If you're thinking about going to university, I would say yes, do it. Being in a new place and just sort of making a bunch of new friends, meeting a bunch of new people, exploring different places. Would highly recommend university. James H asks a number of questions. If money was no object, what rail trip would you take, was his first question. If money was no object, night jet sleeper trains in Switzerland or somewhere, and just going like the super duper posh sleeper cabins and, you know, fully experience that, or maybe like a really nice first class offering. I'm not sure what the best first class offering in Europe is, but you know, like the Emirates A380 first class variant of trains, if there is one, like a really bougie experience. I'll take that, but I don't actually know where that would be. So maybe like just some really nice sleeper train. James also asks, what has been the best rail trip you've done so far? Well, last summer I went from the UK down to Hungary to go to the Hungary Grand Prix, the F1. That was quite fun, go on the train all the way through, ticked off a bunch of new countries. A few years before that I did a trip around Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. I love those countries, I love Luxembourg. So some really cool train journeys there. I think probably my favourite one was, I can't remember where it was from, it was an ICE train. I think it was from Brussels to Frankfurt. And the ICE trains, I don't know what generation it was, but it was a very nice, bougie ICE train. It had like, I remember I watched a movie on it, I can't remember which one, but like it had really good entertainment on board. I think we weren't that late either, which is quite good for Deutsche Bahn. So probably that is my favourite train trip from the UK to Hungary and back via about 5 or 6 different countries. That was a good trip. Then James says, you've hit 10,000. That is very true, thank you. How wild is that? Yeah, wild. What has been the biggest learning curve since starting your channel? And what's next? More collaborations, more documentaries, etc. So, biggest learning curve? Well, I think the biggest learning curve has been probably my transition from like all voiceover video to vlog video actually talking to camera. I wanted to do it for some time, and then I was like, I think it was October 2024, I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do like a face reveal. And that was my first ever video doing a face reveal, was a Q&A actually, my 2024 Q&A, which, yeah, I think sort of was the best thing I did, because that has made me do these sort of videos, and I've loved actually talking to camera. So it's definitely been a learning curve, learning how to use a camera, learning how to actually talk to camera, what to do. I'm still not perfect, I'm far from perfect. I've upgraded my equipment since my first vlog video. I'm better at finding angles and things, but yeah, I think that was my biggest learning curve. And what's next? More of the same, hopefully. I've got a lot of like documentary ideas going on, which I'm working on, but they probably won't be coming out for the next few months or so. But yeah, I do really enjoy the documentary videos, like the cross country and the northern one. It's an excuse to get around the network and explore new places, and it's also an excuse to go back and talk about franchises, which is sort of what built my channel to what it is today. Thanks for that question, James. Final members question comes from another James Anglia. When did your passion for the railway start? I don't really know. I've always had an interest in them. I don't really know why. People ask me, why do you like trains? And I can't give them an answer, really. It's just something that I think is always, I've always been interested in going on the train. I remember quite early going on the train from my home to Marylebone, to London for a day trip with my family, and it's those sort of things that for some reason made me interested. I don't know if it was just the idea of getting on board a train and going to another place, and it drops you off seamlessly in a completely different city or whatever. And it's that sort of thing which I think interested me the most, probably brought me into trains. I think also video games sort of helped me broaden my interest, because that introduced me to how the railways sort of work, Train Simulator and those sort of games. I've always been interested in video games, so I guess they sort of developed it. So when? I would say probably like 10 or 11, so it's been nearly 10 years, I would say, of me being a rail enthusiast, I guess. I don't call myself a train spotter, I'm a rail enthusiast. Just before we get on to questions asked by other people on YouTube, Discord and Instagram, I'm going to answer one more question which was very popular. People always ask me this, so I knew it was going to come up, so I said don't ask me it because I'm going to answer it anyway. What is with your name? What the heck does Vanmanyo mean? And if I'm being honest, I don't really know. It was something I made when I was like 7 or 8, when I was making a Roblox account, the game Roblox online. I made an account for that, and for whatever reason, I don't know where it came from, I made the username Vanmanyo, and it's just stuck with me. Yeah, so what does it mean? I don't know. Do I want to change it? Well, I actually did a poll about a year ago, or maybe 6 months ago, about whether I should change it, and you all voted for me to keep it, so it's still here, and it will probably be here for a while. So yeah, what does it mean? I don't know. That is it. That's the best answer I can give you. I wish I could give you a more interesting answer, but the honest answer is I don't really know why that's my username. But there's a train in about 5 minutes going towards London. I think I'm going to take that to Denham, which is like a minute down the line, and then we're going to answer questions from YouTube and Discord members. Right, well, you join me here at Denham Station, another new station for me. There's not a lot to say about this station, except I believe platform 1 was rejigged and moved to another side in the early 2000s when the whole Chiltern line was being upgraded. So the platform's sort of on the wrong side. It's both the platforms on the left-hand side of the train, which is a bit strange for a station. So I guess that's pretty interesting. Not every train stops here. I think it gets the Oxford and High Wycombe trains, but not every Oxford one. I don't actually know the full stopping pattern of the stations towards Marylebone here, but I believe it's about every half an hour into London. Anyway, now that we've looked at the members' questions, I'm going to have a little look at questions which are asked me on my YouTube post, starting with Land and Water Pebble. There's a train passing through. What is your favourite steam locomotive? Now, you're going to have to promise that you're going to be quiet about this, okay? I don't really like steam trains. They don't they're cool. I appreciate the engineering that goes into them and things, but to me, I don't know why, I prefer the here and the now and the passenger side of the railways currently. So don't get me wrong, steam trains are cool, and I see why loads of people like them, especially as it's sort of a throwback into, you know, what were the railways like 60, 80, 100 years ago, etc. But if I'm being honest, I'm more interested in the more modern stuff. So my favourite steam train, I like the, is it the Sir Nigel Gresley? I don't even know. But I've seen that one. It's like a cool blue one. I saw it at Lichfield once, I think. Yeah, my knowledge on steam trains is quite lacking, so sorry for that sort of nothing answer. Chris B says that they say this to every single Q&A question. Describe your ideal toast and accompanying beverage. Well, I can tell you the beverage, apple juice. That's the great, I love apple juice. That's my breakfast go-to drink. Toast, I do like just plain butter on toast. But I mean, I usually have eggs for breakfast, so eggs on toast are quite nice. French toast, I guess. So yeah, or maybe scrambled egg on toast, something eggy.
Something that doesn't look right.
Be quiet. Now, AWS Trains and Casper Hopwood Stevens both asked something about GBR, and it was around the lines of, do you like the new Great British Railways livery, and how does it compare to your current favourite TOC, train operating company livery? I would say the GBR livery isn't as, you know, I don't hate it as much as some other people do. I think it can be improved. I would like to see more sort of location, region branding, maybe different colour schemes. I think it could be better, but I actually don't hate it. I haven't seen it in person yet. I'm hoping to do that today somewhere. But I think it's better than I think a lot of people are making it out to be. How does it compare to my favourite current train operating company livery? I don't really know what my favourite train operating company livery is. I'm trying to think now, because I mean, I quite like the Trans-Pennine Express one. That one always looks quite good. I like it on the 397. I think it looks good on those trains. I think the ScotRail livery, that one's a good one. The GWR one is obviously very nice. I quite like the whole trains one as well. I think that one's quite cool. And the new Lumo one, the new Lumo West Coast livery, I really like. So, I mean, I might say that one actually. I do really like that livery. But yeah, I think, how does it compare? It's probably not as good as like the Lumo one or the GWR one, but I think it'll get there. And there's a train passing through. But I think it's more interesting than some other liveries, like the Chiltern livery on the 165s is quite boring. I like the new Mark 5A livery actually. I forgot to mention that one. That one's nice. But yeah, it's better than like the Southeastern livery. That one's a bit boring, isn't it? So yeah, I think it will get better. I think, you know, the British Rail livery started off just blue and it developed over time. Now, ENC Trainspotting asks, what's my favourite train operating company? I'm probably going to be biased and just say Chiltern, because I grew up with Chiltern and they're sort of the train operating company I've been on the most. Yeah, I do like Chiltern. I think they got me into the railways, I would say. But, you know, Northern, I now live in the northwest, so I go on a lot of Northern trains, and I do like Northern. Their staff are just so friendly. So yeah, I think Chiltern or Northern, I would say. But Chiltern definitely are sort of the reason that I'm probably standing here today. So I would probably say Chiltern. HA Transit asks my favourite unit, fleet, train, subclass, basically favourite train. I mean, it depends what you're asking. I think the Class 390s are an incredible feat of engineering. You know, their whole tilting aspect, they're just really cool trains. I think the Class 168s, I have some bias towards. They're not especially interesting, but they're cool because they are the trains that I grew up with. I mean, the Class 168s are also the first train post-privatisation, so they're sort of history in that sense. I'm speaking over the announcements now, I don't care. So yeah, probably the 390s in terms of what my favourite train is. They're just really cool. But then the 168s in terms of what I probably have the fondest memories of. They are what got me into trains, I guess, because they are my local trains. So they're the trains that I have the most attachment to. Now, Harrison Snazzle and Dylan Gilbert both asked my favourite video from my franchises series. Now, if I'm going over every video I've made about train franchises, probably the most recent ones that I've made on cross-country or Northern, because it meant I got to film in person, which I like doing, and it meant I got to explore the cross-country and Northern networks. The Northern one was very fun because I got my good friend James gave me these Northern tickets. I just basically explored the whole Northern network for a few days, so that was really good fun. But if you're on about my original franchise videos, I mean, maybe like the West Midlands Railway London North West and West Midlands trains one, because I remember that was a good day. I got to go out and just film around the West Midlands. So that wasn't a bad day of filming. But a lot of them were more sort of heavy on research and being able to get clips and then putting them together. There wasn't much going out and exploring. I like going out and filming because it means I get to go to new places. Yeah, I think overall the more modern ones, the more recent ones where I've been speaking to camera, have been my favourite ones to make and film. Maimada, apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, Maimadha. When was the first time you went on an Intercity 125 HST train? Now, I've only ever been on one HST set in revenue earning service, and that was a cross-country one from Birmingham New Street to Tamworth, I think. It was a few years ago, maybe 2021, and I remember I didn't go on, no, maybe I've done two. It's only been a few, and they've only been the cross-country ones. They were both quite short experiences, but I mean, I remember them quite well. I liked the first time I went on one because I got the old Intercity livery HST unit, HST loco, so that was fun. But I also have been on one old cross-country one on the Severn Valley Railway. They were doing like a special diesel thing, and I decided to go up and have a ride. So I've been on a few Intercity 125 sets, but they've only been cross-country or ex-cross-country ones. So I guess, yeah, that's my experience on the 125s. I unfortunately haven't had too much. I've been on more Intercity 225s than I have 125s. But ultimately, for my YouTube comments, will you ever do a video on every train operating company's rolling stock? I mean, I don't know what that could entail. I've got a few ideas of videos I want to do. I want to do a video where I look at every single new train from like the past 10 years. I think that would be interesting to just look at, really, are these trains that bad? There's obviously a lot of negative publicity about new trains compared to old trains. But for example, are the IETs really that bad versus the trains that they replaced? I'm not saying the HSTs are bad, but in terms of the fact that the IETs are bi-mode and the fact that they have more capacity, etc., etc., the fact that they're quicker acceleration, those sort of things. So I think that would be an interesting video to make. I'd be interested to see overall, after I've done some research, do I think that new trains are better or worse? But will I go, do a video on every single train? That would probably be quite difficult. So I'm not going to make any promises. And finally, my train is being announced. I'm going to go up to Gerrard's Cross because I've never been there. But Barry SG asks, can I have a fiver? No, sorry. Right, I'm going to go up to Gerrard's Cross now, and I'm going to answer your questions, which you asked on Discord and on Instagram. So I'll see you there. Right, welcome to Gerrard's Cross, another new station for me. We're going to get on to what questions were asked me on Discord and on Instagram. Before that, I've got a late members question asked by member James Teco. He asks, what's one video that you've always really wanted to do, and what video have you enjoyed making the most? Well, I'll start off with the last question. What video have I enjoyed making the most? Maybe I think the Netherlands videos, because that was a completely different country. I sort of did a challenge to try and go on every single type of intercity train, so that was interesting. It was a fun day because it was going exploring a completely different country, looking at completely new trains for me, and then also managing to visit sort of maybe one of the least used stations in the Netherlands. So those two videos were very fun to make, and also it was just fun going out to the Netherlands. That whole trip was great. And one video that I've always wanted to do, I don't know if I would necessarily make a video, but I've always wanted to do like a new station opening. I've never been able to. I've just always been in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I've always wanted to do a new station opening because I just think it sounds fun, meeting all these people. Literally everybody goes to station openings. So I don't know if I would make a video on a station opening because it seems as though everybody does. But I would like to go to a new station opening one day. I'm trying to think if there's any upcoming, maybe East West Rail at some point. That would be an interesting one. But yeah, new station opening. Thank you for your question, James. Anyway, I'm about to let this train pass through, and then we'll get on to the questions asked in my Discord server, which you can join in the link in the description below. Hello. Right, my first question was from MoneyCash1007, which was, what's the best British drink? British? That makes it difficult. British, what's the best British drink? Is Rio British? I like a good old Rio. My favourite drink overall, I mean, maybe like a Dr Pepper, but yeah, British, maybe a Rio if they're British, which they might be, I don't know. And if you were to be able to do a video on one foreign country, what would that be? I'd love to go to like China or Japan, or Taiwan, or some country out in East Asia would be amazing with their incredible rail system. So I think one of those countries would be great. Josh asks, what's your favourite tram stop in the UK? Which is a pretty niche question. Favourite tram stop? They're all pretty basic, I would say. So I'm not going to go off my favourite tram stop in terms of what's there, because a lot of them, you know, are just a platform and a shelter or whatever. The ones in Blackpool are cool because you're right close to the beach, which is quite surreal, being on a tram right next to the beach. So they're quite cool. The ones in Birmingham are pretty useless. I mean, some of the Manchester ones actually, I'm just speaking over this announcement, the Manchester ones are cool because, especially on some of the old lines like in Bury, where they're literally old railway stations converted into tram stops, I think that's quite a cool idea, and it's quite cool, you know, being there and saying, you know, oh, this used to be a train station and now it's a tram stop. So maybe some of the ones in Manchester, but I can't really pinpoint one of my favourites. Maybe on the Altrincham line somewhere. There were some quite nice ones there. Watch that video if you haven't done so already. Hugh from the TFL3, hello Hugh, asks, talking about Metrolink, when will the Metrolink series return? When I'm back in university in September, October, because I haven't been able to get up there and film anything. Annoyingly, all the other lines I've got are the really long ones. Like the Oldham line has like 30, 40 stops, and it's just going to take ages. So it's sometime later this year, but it won't be for the next few months because I can't get up there to film it, unfortunately. Trans Electrostar asks, what's your favourite main line in the UK? Do I be biased to say the Chiltern main line? I mean, it is a cool line, the Chiltern line. I think it's the West Coast main line is cool, but I think they both have their charms. I mean, the Settle and Carlisle line, that is technically a main line because it links the Midlands up towards Scotland. So if we're counting that as a main line, definitely that one. The Croydoner asks, what's your opinions on Purley, specifically the Tesco? Never been. Maybe one day I'll go, and if so, I'll tag you. I'll send you a picture and I'll tag you. Sorry, I can do my opinions on Croydon. It's okay. I've been to better places. Dean the Ticket Collector asks, what's your favourite and least favourite train operator and the favourite and least favourite train from that specific company? I've already said my favourite, Chiltern. My favourite train, they don't have very many, they have 3 types. They're all pretty quirky in their own right. The 165s are pretty old networker trains. The 168s are the trains which I grew up with. And of course the Mark 5As are swanky and really cool and really modern, like this one that's about to pass me. That was good timing, wasn't it? So yeah, maybe the Mark 5As are my current favourite because I'm still getting used to them because they're still new to me. Ask me in another year and maybe I'll say like the 160, I don't know what I'll say. I think for now the Mark 5As, they're cool, and that was very good timing. Most hated, I don't think I hate any train company, although some people thought that my cross-country video was me hating them. I think I was quite fair on cross-country in that video. So probably cross-country are my most disliked, but then again, I've had some really good journeys on cross-country. I think their new refurbished trains are really, really good. I mean, the unrefurbished Voyagers are not nice though, but the refurbished ones are great. I mean, if they could get more seats, they would be a good train company, but probably cross-country because I don't really hate any train company. Like, I think they all do a pretty decent job. I've never had any catastrophic train days out or whatever. Like, I've had a few cancellations, but never like been stranded anywhere or whatever. So probably cross-country, but they're not like awful. Alex asks, if you could remove the operating licence for one current train company, what would it be? So sort of a similar question. Now, a lot of them are nationalised, but I would probably say cross-country because they're one of the only few non-nationalised train companies, and I've already said that they're my least favourite. So maybe cross-country, but yeah, Arriva don't really have much input on them anymore. Elijah says, congrats on 10k, thank you. What's your favourite meal deal? My go-to meal deal, hoisin duck wrap. Depends what I'm feeling, maybe a packet of crisps or chocolate bar, I don't know, depends. And then a drink, maybe like a Dr Pepper or like a Monster or something. So I don't mind iced coffee sometimes, but yeah, hoisin duck wrap's usually what I go for. Elijah also asks, what do you think is the most underrated line that you have been on and the most underrated train? Most underrated line? I think the ones out of Leeds, the Wharfdale and Airedale lines, they're cool because they get a really good service, they're fully electrified, they've got interesting rolling stock, and they are, yeah, they're quite cool lines. They're very good, very scenic as well. And for most underrated train, oh, that's a difficult one. I mean, I've always liked the 158s, but I don't know if they're underrated. Maybe one of the newer sort of trains. Like, I really like the 805s and the 807, the Avero trains. They're really cool. But then are they underrated? Are they overrated? I don't know. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion on maybe trains which people don't like, but I like them. I mean, the 333s are interesting and wacky trains, so maybe them. I'm not really too sure what my most underrated train would be, because I don't know what everybody's opinions on trains are. But maybe one of the newer trains which people like to hate on, which aren't that bad. RIP to the Class 455 asks, have you been to Haven House, Skegness? Nope, I've been on the Skegness line before, not Haven House. Best EMR train? Yeah, probably the refurbished 170, because they're sort of going through a transition. I mean, the 360s are okay, but yeah, they're going for a transition between 222s and 810s at the moment, and it's not really going too well, but hopefully soon. Maybe ask me that in a year when I've been on one of the 810s, and I might say then. I don't know. And finally for Discord, Ollie Eats Pringles asks, favourite pint? Now, I'm more of a cider guy, if I'm being honest with you, but if I had to pick a beer, I'd probably go Asahi. I quite like an Asahi. You can't go wrong with one of them. And they serve them in Wagamamas as well. Right, so that is it with the main questions. I've only got some of the more wacky questions which some of my friends have asked me to come, and then we'll wrap up. For now, I'm going to get this train back to London. I've got some things to do in London, and I will join you back somewhere later in the day. So see you at whatever station I end up at. Right, you join me much later on in the day here at Wembley Stadium station to wrap up this Q&A, but first I'm going to answer some of the more, let's say, less serious questions which I've been asked, mostly on Instagram. Now, these first few questions come from my friend Theo, who asks, what do you think is faster, a stationary Class 168, which operate with Chiltern, or a moving Aston Martin 2026 car? That is a difficult question. I think it is too close to cool, I would say. Maybe the 168, maybe. Theo also asked, who is your favourite Cluedo character? It's finally getting answered. Colonel Mustard, surely. Theo also asks, would you rather fight one train-sized angry penguin or 100 penguin-sized angry trains? Now, the latter, of course, because that means there's more trains. Now, Theo asked a lot of questions. What's the 10,001 subscriber special? Well, actually, at the time of recording, I'm on 10,010, so nothing, I guess. This is currently the 10,010 subscriber special. They also asked why cross country is so unbelievably bad in every way, but replace bad with another word. Well, I made a whole video on that. I don't actually think they're that bad in every way. They're just bad in some ways, but I made a whole video on that, so maybe you should watch it, Theo. And finally, Theo asked, what's your favourite type of Wi-Fi router, and can it be installed on a train? Well, I'm not a huge Wi-Fi router nerd, if I'm being honest with you. However, whatever Avanti West Coast use on their trains is very fast, especially on the new Avero trains. Freddie asks, who was your first ever subscriber and why are they so special? This is because Freddie was my first ever subscriber because he is a friend I knew from school. Every subscriber is special. Of course they are. Who cares if they're first or they're the most recent one? I love you all. Only the Right Track asks, favourite brain rot character? Come on, tung tung tung's at her, obviously. And he also asks, are you looking into doing pizza delivery full time? You need to watch his video to understand the context of that one. The answer is, well, that's not what my degree's in, so no. Now, this final question comes from my friend Merlin, who asks, who's the best Overwatch player you've ever played with? Now, it's because I know Merlin in real life, and we sort of play Overwatch together. I'm going to say Will, who I used to play Overwatch with a few years ago. Sorry, Merlin. If you want about comment, then it'll be you. Anyway, thanks for those great questions, my friends at the end. But thank you, really thank you so much for 10,010 subscribers. It really does mean the absolute world to me. I'm like somewhat big in the train community now, and that's kind of cool, I guess. Thank you to all my YouTube and channel members, past and present. You have helped me get to where I am today, helped to fund trips like these, so I really appreciate you all. Thanks for all your questions though. Thanks for your support over the past nearly 8 years. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Maybe you've learned something new about me. Maybe you think I'm stupid and you're actually going to unsubscribe. Hopefully not. Or maybe you think that I'm like really cool. But anyway, thank you very much. I will speak to you soon in a video very shortly. Until then, goodbye. And a huge thank you to all my YouTube and Patreon members, including my first class members Aaron Barry, Crispin McKee, JBNEL, Phil Smith and Tom Kennedy. My business zone members Andrew Bowen, Anthony Harris, Anthony James Moore, ARK, BK Gary, Connor Gregg, Clive's Travel and Trains, Craig Mitchell 43, Daniel Burford, Dave CDF, Henry Joy, J Teco, Gary Lev, Martin Thomas, NJTE, Ollie D, OVTUG Alex, Pete Denton, Real, Sean Hemmings, SZWL, Trainlife GB, Tom Kennedy, Will Ho, and Zach Renfrey, as well as my standard premium and standard class members. Your support means the absolute world to me and helps make videos like this one possible. You can help support me from as little as 99p per month and get exclusive access to members only videos and videos early. You can get your name on this list from as little as £2.99 a month and get more exclusive members only videos, more exclusive members only channels across social media and other perks listed down below. So if you do want to support me, join the channel as a member for exclusive perks. I really appreciate you all. Once again, thanks for watching this video. Check out my Blue Sky Twitter and Discord server, links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.